Hello again, guys. So in this video we will learn how to configure NextAuth to use a database. In our case we will use MongoDB, and after that we will also create a model using the Mongoose library for the user. So let's jump right into it. So before we start, since we are going to make a few changes in this file, there is also a good practice to use a debug if anything happens. So in this case we create a debug and search for the node environment, and see if it is in development. And if it is, we will print some logs in the terminal. Now that we already have this, let's go to the documentation side of the NextAuth and go for the documentation. And in specific, let's jump right into the adapters. So as you can see, we have several options here for the databases that we can use, and we will use the MongoDB. So you just simply have to follow these 3 steps. And let's start by the first one. So we will need some libraries. The first one we already have, the NextAuth. The second one, it's the MongoDB adapter, and the third one, it's the MongoDB. It was quick. And now let's create this file. And since we are using Typescript, we will change a few things in here, considering the types. So let's just do it. So in here, let's create a new folder called lib. And inside of this folder, let's create a new file called mongodb.ts. So then we can copy what we have here. And we already see that we have here some problems. But in our case, let's start resolving them. So first of all, we don't need these options. So let's look for it and delete them. So we are using it here, here, and here. This is the 2 connections, one for development and one when we are not on development environment. Then we can also see that we have here a problem with the types of the global. We cannot find global. So for that we need to create a file in the root folder called global.ts, and in here we can declare our global, and we want to be in the namespace of the Node.js, and we want an interface for the process env. And in this case, what's really is important, it's that we have this node env and call it development or production. Alright, so and on top of that we have to export nothing, because this makes this file a module and not a script. That's it for the global. That's all that we need. So now we need to change the global to have a specific type. But first, let's also change the types of these variables here. So the first one is Mongo client, and the second one, it's a promise that gives us a Mongo client. And that's it for this. Now we are going to also need to change the type of this to a string, and you can see here that he is expecting undefined, but we are here seeing if it's undefined, so we just need to grab this below and we are all set to go. And regarding the global, we also have to create a type called global with Mongo client promise, for example, and it's a global of type of global this, and we give it inside the Mongo client promise, which is of type, again, promise of Mongo client. Alright, And now the only thing that we have to do is change everything, and here, and we are all set. Here we also are having an error, but we will check this after we experiment this, and for now it's okay. And this is all we need for our adapter in this case. And then we just have to add the adapter to our NextAuth path or API. So we need to use it, and now let's add this adapter with the client promise. And that's it for the adapter. We only have to adapt the path to our lib, which is like this. And that's it for the adapter. So the only thing that we have to do is that in our adapter, we here are using this variable, and we did not add this variable yet. So let's do that. Let's go to the env local, and here I already added the variables that I need. You should also do the same. Regarding you can find how you can find these variables in the previous video, but remember that I'm showing here the password. You should never show the password, but at the end of this video I will have deleted this user, so this password is not really important and I can show it for now. So after you get this information, remember that you will get this MongoURI. You need to change this part to use the variable that we are using here, this part, the next one, the password, and at the end of the string, after the slash, you also need to specify your database, which in my case it's NextAuth YouTubeDB. Alright, so now we'll also configure a way to connect to the database. Let's jump into here again. So in this case we will also create here a new file called dbconnect.ts. We will also have a very similar file to the MongoDB one, but in this case we will connect, and we will have this complete file. You can find this file in the GitHub that I will leave at the description. There is no need to type it, so let's just go quickly by it. So we are importing the Mongoose, so we need to install Mongoose. Let's do that right now. So npm, so let's just do npm install Mongoose, and right after this will stop giving this error, and we still have this global error, but we will see soon that this will disappear. So we are checking again if this variable is set. Then we are setting it with the type of string. Then in here we are creating a connection, and this is the important part, and then we return this connection to the user. So let's use it. Here we will also have to import it, but for now we will just import it but not use it, but soon enough we will use it, and it's okay for now. Okay, now the part of the database is complete. So now let's create a user model for our application. So in this case we'll also create here a new folder called model, and this is regarding the part of the Mongoose. In here we can also specify the user.ts. So in here, to create our user, we should import the Mongoose from Mongoose, and then we shall create a schema that we import from the Mongoose schema, and let's create our user schema then. So our user schema will be very simple. We will start by creating an object inside, and this object will have 3 to 4 um, attributes. In this case, the first one will be a name. So the name should be of type string, and it should be required, and it should also be unique, and it should be required, unique, and after we can also, and that's enough. So then let's go for the email. I just speed up this part because it's very similar. And that's it. Now the only thing that we are missing is just to export. So let's say user equals mongoose mongoose.models. So let's create the models for the user, and then let's also say that it's called user, and it comes and it maps to the user schema. And now we only have to export it. That's it. We have our schema created, and we will use it in the next video. So just to conclude this video, we created our MongoDB adapter by using this client promise. We also already created the way to connect to the DB that we will need in the next video. And we also created a Mongoose user schema, as well as created this file for the global, and got the variables from the MongoDB Atlas database. So now let's just test it. Let's do npm run dev, go for our application, go for the home page, let's go for the sign in, and then sign in with GitHub. Okay, and we are signing. And now let's go check this new user that was adapted. As you can see, you were getting some logs here about this flag that we activated, which is nice. And now we just have to see what was created on the database, and let's just do that. Okay, so here I'm in my account, in the Atlas account. You just have to go to MongoDB, sign in, and we'll get to this page. We are now automatically created 3 collections, one called accounts, one called sessions, and another one called users. And I will just increase the size of it for you to see that I created this with my GitHub account, and also have here the sessions, and the account is saved as a GitHub account. All good. So that's it for this video. In the next video we will utilize what we already created to create a credentials user. So we will put a username or an email and a password, and the account will also be saved here. So see you in the next video.